My children, there is hunger for revival in this land. When you compare the season today with what was in place 4 years ago, see the difference. See the zeal today as people pray that Yahweh would have his way in America once again.
Hallelujah.
On election day. How very significant is this change. The deep rootedness, the zeal and confidence that Yah makes the difference. I set before you this day life and death. Choose life, America. Choose life. When you remove me and remove my laws, my precepts, commandments, and statutes, what possibly can you think will be the result? From the very beginning of mankind's existence upon earth, he has sought to rebel against the Lord, to do his own thing in various ways and colors and stripes. But I say unto you, my children, it all is the same. It's not right. Because I am the giver of life. Why would you want to run away from the giver of life, saith Yahweh? Why would you want to choose your own when it is a fool who denies God? The fool has said in his heart there is no God. And so when your nation takes on the complacency and mindset that God doesn't matter and that there is no God, if he does exist, what difference does it make? I am independent from him. For indeed, people know, many, many people know, that God is real. It's been instilled within them from a young age. But the God of this age has blinded the minds of those who do not believe, lest they might see the glorious gospel of Yeshua and be saved. And so therefore, the taking out of my laws and my Torah, my word, my commandments, statutes, and ordinances from your schools is truly the work of nothing but fools. And if you think that you can make it on your own, know this, says the Lord, that you will fall. And the fall shall be far. He that hardeneth his neck often shall be broken, and it shall be sudden. My children, America is on the edge, the precipice. The laws of Yah are being denied and overturned, overruled by judges who make and uphold the laws. Indeed, why would you want to believe that if you turn your back on me, you'll succeed? And yet every day you'll see laws being written, sent to Congress, signed into action that deny me, that go against my word, my precepts and commandments. America, you're on the precipice. But I will fight for you if you will lift up the name of Yahweh and Yeshua. I will intercede for you, for I am the advocate who will defend you. I will walk with you, for I am Yahweh Shema, who is always there with you. You need not fear if you'll come to me and draw near. There is much judgment that should befall the leaders of this land, whose hearts have grown cold, and they've replaced my word with that which is against my word. America, choose life. And on this election day, you have a choice to make. I say unto you, if you do not make the right choice, and that is to turn with all your heart to the Lord, then you will have forsaken me unto a great fall. Simply examine those who once stood by my commandments, who turned their back. How long did they last? Because a nation without God shall fail. America, you have been great, because those who founded you were men and women of faith. America, you've had your time to make a difference amongst the states and nations of the world. And you upheld my name. You preached my fame. You stood for what is right, even when the wages of unrighteousness tried to buy you off, persuade you, to bribe you, and take you down their evil path. You've stood for the righteous path in the past, but today you are but a shell of your once strong self. How weak, like a wet noodle, you are. You bend at the slightest pressure instead of standing strong with resolve for the law of the Lord your God. It takes nothing but a child's mind to get it. It's so clear. As they say, it's more obvious than the nose on your face. But first you need to look in the mirror. But you've forgotten who you are. You've forgotten what I've made you. You've examined yourself in times past, and there has been great revival. You've been tested by the attacks of the enemies, like at Pearl Harbor. You have won the victories because of your righteous stand for the Lord your God. You fought for those who were downtrodden, those who were taken and slaughtered. You fought for the cause of the widow and orphan. You have taken in the disenfranchised and broken. The arms of Lady Liberty indeed have welcomed. But today, you think you can be the same if you ignore Yahweh? You think that you can just take what you choose like a buffet? Oh, I think I like this. But no, that law I don't like. That's uncomfortable. And this one, oh, certainly most inconvenient. But you put on your plate the delicacies of man's sinful mind. You put on your plate things that to you seem convenient, but I don't tolerate. You pick and choose as you choose. Well, so do fools. and fools lose. So I give you this day. Here's the buffet. Here's life. Here's death. America, choose life. Choose Yah's ways. Because it will not be long before your sin will find you out. For indeed you reap what you sow. To my children who fall on their faces, who read my law and appreciate my graces, I say to you, I'm with you. I will fight for you. And as you honor me and lift up my name in a wicked and perverse generation's midst, know this, that I shall not forget this. Be strong. You're on the right side. Don't tolerate those who joke and mock and chide. You take the stand and tell the truth, even if it's not popular. You take a stand and proclaim the truth, even if in this generation you are mocked by their youth. You take a stand for my laws and my righteousness, and I will vindicate you, because it always comes out in the wash. But America, you don't need to go through a fall to break you, because I'm setting before you life and death. But you must choose what is right. My children, as the Jews read their Torah, they're coming down to the wire, to the last readings. There's not that many Shabbats left in 5776. Only a few. And the words of Moshe, as he stands at the edge of the promised land, knowing that he shall not go to, are the most important words for you. Ponder them, America. Ponder them, because you too are an Israelite. Because I have chosen you. And I set before you death and life. Choose life, America. Do what's right. Read my Torah. Put it inside your heart. The difference between what is right and what is wrong. You will see motivation coming from a pure heart is the greatest invigoration and inspiration. When you truly love the Lord your God, you want to do His laws. It's inside you, even though your old nature fights with you. But you want to do. And that's a sign of righteousness in your mind. But in order to accomplish this change, you need to be changed. And that change comes as I become a bigger part of you. That's the choice you make, because every day you can choose life. And so you must. And learn consecration. Learn sanctification as a process of turning to righteousness. Sometimes it's not convenient. Sometimes it's not comfortable, and sometimes it doesn't look very appetizing. But you know that it's good for you. So eat my food. But America, as you look at the promise of Yahweh, I'll make you a leader among the nations. I'll give you riches and wealth, strength and power and influence. You've seen my hand. You've seen the evidence. And why did you become what you are? It's a simple matter of the historic evidence. You chose Yah. But today, hear the words of Yahweh. I turned an entire generation away because they didn't obey. I have all the time in the world, but you don't. My son, my daughter, my children, amongst the states, amongst the counties, amongst the cities, towns and villages, and even out in the country. I say to you, choose life. Don't be a fool. In this stirring that is taking place, there is a sobriety and an awareness of the urgency of this age. Indeed, if the enemy has his way and the wrong leaders are voted into place, there shall be a great, great falling away from grace. Indeed, I'm looking at the heart. I'm looking at that private world, because your heart is an open book. Surely, even if you hide it from everyone else, I see the true look, and I know what you look like. I know what you think like. I know what's in your heart. Choose life, America. Choose judges who will judge according to righteousness and Yah's laws. Choose leaders that fear the Lord, for the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Fear Yah. My children of America, you have this democratic process whereby you can choose your president. You can choose your senators. You can choose your Congress. Well then, vote according to God's righteousness. You ask and you examine the evidence. Politicians will say whatever they need to say to get their way. Doesn't mean they really believe what they say. But when you look at what they've done, the stands that they took, the efforts that they have made, you can see the efforts as clear as a testimony. So those who have acted in accordance with my laws, vote them in, unless they have just recently changed. And in some cases, it has been because the pressure of being a politician, when you value the position more than its true purpose, you can become changed by wanting to please the masses. But my children, vote not just with your heart, vote with your head, and examine carefully the track record of these who are asking for your confidence, your tick on the ballot sheet. Do you know what they stand for? Do you know what they believe? Do you know how they act? How they vote? Remember, you're not just voting in someone that will do what the masses of the electoral want them to do. That's a puppet. You're voting in those who will establish righteousness in the midst of ungodly opposition. Or so you're supposed to. Are not these the rules and laws of true democracy? It's not just doing what the people want. You must do what the Lord God wants. And I give you the choice. America, I set before you life and death. Choose life. Choose to do what is right. Choose leaders that will take a stand in the midst of a wicked and perverse generation. Choose those who will judge according to my law and my Torah. Choose those who understand who is Yeshua, for indeed he is in living form, my Torah. It's something that a child could figure out. It's not complicated. You simply need to read my laws. And it's all there for you to look. So take a look and vote according to my precepts, which I have very conveniently placed for you in the book of books. My son, as Donald Trump speaks, there are hardly any, if ever, empty seats in the room. There's an excitement. There's a refreshing. There's an eagerness to turn this country back to common sense, let alone righteousness, because common sense is righteousness. The other candidates' rooms are filled with empty seats, no energy. And what excitement there is fabrications of a twisted, unenlightened mind. They think it's good for the nation. But remember, what just appears on the surface may not be reality. And that's what is happening. For all these platitudes are just simply painting like nail polish. But really, truthfully, my children, it's about the health of the nail. You can clothe a tomb with garments of white and whitewashed tombs. It still is filled with dead men's bones. And this nation has more than its fair share of whitewashed tombs, sitting in positions of authority, in mayoral chairs, and even in Congress and senatorial chairs. Oust them, vote against them, remove them, and always remember prayer. Prayer will change the things that Yah does not uphold and is with displeased. Have confidence in me. Turn your heart and your face toward me. And let the Son of Righteousness arise upon you, America, with healing in his wings. Because I will bring you back to me. And as you come back to me, and the laws come back to me, and the hearts of the children and all who are involved in positions of authority come back to me, you're going to shine once again, because you have in your mind what is right, and you know your purpose. Choose life. Choose life. Choose life on November 8th. Choose what's right. Ask me to blow upon your nation, and I will blow. Amidst the Herculean efforts of evil that are aligned and positioned and purchased positions of influence in the media and newspapers and television, radio, which is like a giant Goliath of opposition to the righteousness of David. Take your stones, take your sling, and bring down that thing in the name of Yeshua. Who are you to blaspheme the living God? And yes, my Davids, I will guide your rocks, and you will bring them down one by one, and lop off their heads with the sword of righteousness, my word. You'll simply speak what I have said. And as you do, I'll bring you into the land. The walls of Jericho, tall as they are, will come down, exposing the enemy, and you shall take back what belongs to me. America, hear ye the word of the Lord this day. September 11 is coming your way. 15 is a long time when you look at it through a child's eyes. But as you look through it with my eyes, it's but a snap of the fingers. And how far, America, you've fallen in the snap of my fingers. You need to get back to your calling and fall upon your faces. Fall upon the rock before the rock falls upon you and crushes you. America, it's as clear as the nose on your face what you should do. It's as common sense. In the 1950s, people had common sense. That's what happens when you come through such a war and you learn to establish memorials in the name of the Lord, and you put righteousness in your schools and in your laws, and you thank every day for every blessing that comes your way, the Lord your God. But in the snap of a finger or two, where has that gone away from you? It's not difficult to choose what's right. It's actually quite sensible to do. So America, vote with your head and turn your heart toward the Lord and make the right decision to choose life. And I will save you, and I will restore, says the Lord your God, on this day, September 10, 2016.